everyone, this is Pig for Life, and in today's action figure review we'll be taking a look at Bandai's Tamashii Nation's S.H.Figuarts Iron Man Mark 43. And this is the first figure from the S.H.Figuarts Avengers Age of Ultron line. So this is Mark 43. We are scheduled to get at least Mark 45 from the movie as well later on this year. But this is the first figure that's released so far, so let's go ahead and get started with packaging review. And as you can see, you get a very similar package that we're familiar with the S.H.Figuarts line. Very small, slim. You get a nice image of the product here. Nice big window where you can see the Mark 43 Iron Man with some blast effects and some of the other accessories. You get a little bit of arc reactor art here. The Tamashii Nation's Bandai line, and then we're going to come around to the side, more of that same image. On the back we get a lot of product images, so we get the armor from the front, the back showing some molding, showing some blast effects or flight effects, and then also showing some blast effects from the hand as well, so repulsor blast. Along the side, just some more product shots. Nothing too crazy, pretty standard for the Figuarts line. On the top we get Iron Man Mark 43 and the Avengers logo, and the bottom we just get some warning and production information. So that's it for the external packaging. Let's go ahead and get this guy open. Once you get the box open, you do get the same kind of plastic tray that we're used to, with the plastic cover that holds everything in place. You get a nice view of Iron Man, the Mark 43. Again, some repulsor blasts over here, and then some, blasts that come out of his feet, propulsion blasts. In addition to the two stock hands that are balled up fists that come with the figure, you also get 3 different sets here, and we'll go into those in a little bit of detail once we get the figure completely out of packaging. And just the brief instructions that you get, again, showing off the different sets of hands, how you can use the optional blasts on the feet and on the hands here, and then it also shows you that you get some extra articulation by pulling out on the shoulder and so forth. But that's it for what comes in the packaging. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of the tray. So here we have the Mark 43. Let's do a quick 360. And he looks really great. I like this more red color over the Mark 42, which was predominantly gold. And I think it just looks much more classic Iron Man. And we're going to go ahead and get straight into articulation. So there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people say this is basically a repaint of 42. There are some differences going on here. So the first thing, let's go start up at the top. He does have a head on ball peg, a double ball peg, or barbell, whatever you want to call it. So it gives him a good range of motion. He has a head bobble. His neck is also on a ball joint, so it gives you a good range of motion going forward, and then a decent range going back, and then combined with the head joint, you get a decent look forward for flight poses, which is great. The neck joint also has a lot of left and right as well, which is great. The shoulders, there's a bunch of stuff going on here, so you can raise it out to the side like so, rotate it. I think it's on a ball joint, maybe, or instead of a swivel. I'm not really sure, you can't see, but you really want to get a swivel out of it. The shoulder armor is connected to the shoulder here on a hinge, so it just flips up. I kind of wish it was connected to the armor instead, on the deltoids instead, so that when you rotate the shoulder, it wouldn't follow along. So to get additional range of articulation or range of movement, you do pull out on the shoulder joint, and as you can see, it comes out a decent amount compared to the other side here, and that gives you enough clearance to bring the arm up. But as you can see, when you bring the arm up, this shoulder comes around, the shoulder armor comes around along with it. I kind of wish it stayed up around the deltoids instead. But it is what it is. but that way you get more range of motion. You can also swing that up and swing that down because it's on a double ball peg, it looks like. So yeah, don't forget to pull this out. Just be careful, don't pull out on this thing since it's on a tiny hinge. Go ahead and pull out on the actual shoulder joint itself, and that will give you the extra range of motion that you need to get him in some dynamic poses. It does have double jointed elbows. It looks kind of weird once you have it fully extended if you're looking at the side, just because it makes it look like it has two joints when there's only one joint in the human elbow, but it gives you a lot of bend. He does have a ball joint on the wrist, which will show off a little bit later. And then the wrist guards themselves can bend here and also come undone, unpegged, so that you can swap them for the other hands. The ab, or I guess diaphragm, is on a ball joint as well. A good range of motion. I believe this is an improvement from from the 42. So you have a lot of back, which again helps for flight poses, and then you have forward. The problem with this is that if you go too far forward, you start seeing a gap there. And actually the same thing, since we're going to go down to the waist anyways, you get a bit of a gap on the waist here, unless you actually push this back pretty far. So even if you start going a little bit, you can start seeing into the cavity here, which is unfortunate, but you're not going to look at it from the back for the most part, so I guess it's not too bad. So since it's on a ball joint, you do get that ab, or I guess mid-chest swivel as well. And then for the waist, you have that ball joint, so you get some motion there, and you get some turning. You do run into some interference, so this is about as much as you're going to get before you're going to start kind of like stressing stuff. So once we start getting down to the legs is where it gets kind of weird. So you can already see that he kind of has childbearing hips. They come out and bulge out a little too much. I don't like that look. I immediately noticed it. And you can actually, it leaves too much of a gap between the crotch plate and the inner thigh. And you can see the lighting here is kind of dark, so you're not seeing it, but to the naked eye, you're definitely going to be able to see in and see the ball peg hip joint here. You are able to pull this down to get some extra range of motion so that you can lift the leg up a bit more. And that's probably why they had to have the hips come out just the way it works. It's just on a swivel hinge. I just wish that they maybe shortened it just a little bit to get it a little bit closer in. But yeah, you get only about this much motion forward and back until you pull this down, and then you get a really nice range of motion. Obviously you're going to get that gap, so it's a trade-off. The thigh itself isn't just a swivel, it's actually a ball joint. It's going to be hard to focus in on here, but it's actually a ball joint, which gives you a little bit of extra articulation, which is kind of nice. I like that. The knees are again double jointed, a very nice knee joint. The problem with mine, I don't know if this is just mine, is I have a lot of play and looseness in his left knee. This one is nice and tight, but this one I can barely touch and I get a lot of play. And not so much that it hinders stability, but just something to note. And then down at the ankle, you have a hinge that goes forward, and then you can go back a decent amount as well. This is soft plastic on the back, so you do get you can get it to go back a little bit more forward. He also has a ankle tilt, a rocker, that gives you a good range of motion out inwards like that. You don't get really anything outwards. And then the toe itself has a good range of bend. You can tilt it down a little bit, but then you're going to get some gap there. But yeah, overall the articulation on this figure is really nice. The overall look is really nice. I do have a few paint issues on mine. I do have on my face mask a little bit of scratch on the right above the eye, which is unfortunate. I have some gold not fully painted on the shoulder here. It's going to be hard to see, but It's very small details there. But overall, I think the red, gold, and the silver look really nice. The gold is a little bit more subdued and less shiny than I was expecting, but it still looks really nice. And maybe this is just the way it's supposed to look in the movie. I'm not really sure, since I haven't seen it yet, since it hasn't come out yet here. But yeah, overall I really like it. Aside from the gaps in the hips and the back in here, and then the placement of the shoulder armor, I think overall it has a lot of great articulation. Overall, I think it's a nice figure. So let's go ahead and get into some of the accessories. So as far as accessories go, we already saw them before when I was doing the packaging, but just to reiterate, so these two with the pegs here, the larger effects pieces, these are for the foot thrusters, and as you can see, they can peg into the pegs that are in the bottom of Iron Man's feet to give him the effect of thrusters. Remove those. The other four effects here, the pairs here, are for his hands. So this one is a nice repulsor blast, and these only interact with these set of hands here that have the extended peg. And this one gives a really nice blast because it has that white effect coming on, the frosted paint coming out, which looks really great. And you can do that on both hands. But yeah, this is a much longer, I guess what you would actually imagine his repulsor blast being. And the smaller ones here, which have a little bit of paint, or much smaller, these I think are more if you want to simulate the stabilization, you know, when he's trying to stabilize himself or giving some extra thrust. You would use these for that. At least I would. So yeah, that's it for the effects parts. Let's go into detail on some of the hands. Get these out of the way. So let's go ahead and continue on with the, I guess, repulsor hands, if that's what you want to call them. They're just splayed a bit, and again, the difference with these is that you can use the effect parts with them. Nicely sculpted. We'll throw these on in a little bit, and the rest are just open hands. So this one just has the white repulsor, I guess, port, whatever you want to call it, shown off. Fingers slightly splayed, and the last set of hands are just straight hands, which I don't know what I would really use it for. It just looks too robotic to me. Maybe when he's flying, I guess you can use that. One thing I guess I should have mentioned is with these effect hands, the ball joint sockets are on the back of the hand, so that you can obviously have him do the the tilted up wrist. So instead of, let's go ahead and scooch this up just a tiny bit. So instead of just having the fist facing straight down, just pull off this joint. You actually put it in like that. And that is why this is hinged, so that you can make use of the wrist guard with these hands. If I can actually plug it in. So yeah. And then you can make use of the effect parts again. So you can either have it going out like that, or again kind of down as if he were using it as stabilizers for his flying mode. Same thing with the other hands. I'm not going to really show them all off. But let's go ahead and throw on a right hand real quick. Just pull that off. Take off the wrist guard. Plug that back in. So yeah, this one is kind of a more of an open hand. But overall, yeah, the figure is absolutely great. I love it. I think it's definitely worth picking up. And I'm really excited for the rest of the line. I'm hoping that some of these complaints that I have are rectified in the newer Mark 45, which I'm hoping will have some changes. Since this is, by and large, very similar to the Mark 42, I'm hoping the 45 is going to have some differences, hopefully fixing some of the gaps here. But overall, I think it's a great figure, definitely worth picking up. If you want to add this guy to your collection, go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, or if I missed something, or if I, made some type of error, please let me know. I am pretty new to S.H.Figuarts, so let me know if I misrepresented something with this figure. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. That'd be absolutely great, and I'd be very thankful if you did that. And if you like what I'm doing here with the S.H.Figuarts reviews, go ahead and click subscribe in this little button here and keep up to date. So I'll be doing more figure arts in addition to my traditional Transformers reviews. Definitely the Age of Ultron figures, more Dragon Ball stuff, and probably some other anime as well. But yeah, that's all for today, everyone. If you have anything else you want to say to me, go ahead and leave it in my Facebook page, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay? Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good one.